We're live, gentlemen.
Finally.
Finally. Actually.
It's been a while.
It's been a long minute.
People probably thought, this niggas gave up.
Actually, they're like, these bras aren't serious. They come, do 2 videos, and then they're like,
and then they go say,
no, but don't worry, we're back. We're that ex that follows up on you, who never leaves your life. Even though we ghosted you, we're back now.
hey,
Starting to heat up.
well.
It's a bit cold out here.
I'm praying for you.
I know, like I hope you've grown since the last time we spoke.
I hope you've healed.
Yeah. What do you mean, dude? You're adding to my wound. You're like, what do you mean?
Too close to home.
What do you mean?
Anyway, welcome back, our lovely, amazing listeners, viewers,
The 3 that
audience, fans, I don't know, groupies, I don't know what else
I don't know,
our
parents.
Thanks so much for believing in us, or if you didn't believe in us, well, we're back now, so there's nothing else you can do.
We haven't made it yet. You can't say shit like that.
No,
You can't say shit like that. You haven't made it.
We have people that do believe in us.
Yeah.
we do.
Yes.
That love us.
Those 50 that watch, they clearly do believe in us.
Those 50.
Hey, that's not a day.
That's massively ambitious. Today we are starting a new sort of segment. We are having a feel for how it goes.
Yeah.
And the idea, I guess, is to also learn, and things that I guess brought many lessons and insights for us. So yeah, today we are chatting about an influential book, or at least that we thought was.
It is based on the number of copies sold.
That's also true. But it's I really enjoyed it, especially when I think my mentor actually gave me this book. So yeah, I actually don't know what his intention was, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and
You are lost, boy.
You are
Well, you lost.
I wonder if it's changed.
I hate to cut you off, but please tell us the story of how they gave you this book.
Wait, first
Was the solution to a problem?
No, I don't think so. I think it was just, you're young, anything can happen. Might as well follow your dreams. And here's a book that I found, from his perspective, to be quite influential. And I think that's how it came about. So it's not like I was going through some deep find yourself. Yeah. Or maybe it was. Maybe I was running away.
He wasn't away. He had no words anymore. He had no advice to give you. He was like,
Because the way I'm picturing it was your mentor, you come with your mentor with life problems. He's like, this nigga must just read. Get out of here. Read. But yeah, as Lucio was saying, we're starting a new segment, and it's going to be on us discussing books which we feel have impacted our life and had a positive influence on it. I'm just going to share some of our key takeaways and encourage the rest of you to also pick it up and give it a read and see if it can benefit you as well. But before we jump into the review of the books and hear Lupe tell us about how this book has changed his life and how he's a better man because of it. Though, I mean, if he's better now, I really don't want to know what he was like.
It's not going
Before, let's not go there.
Better man depends on who you're asking, but listen.
But we'd like to welcome you all to the School Feast channel. My name is Dal Drabile.
Ludwe, Luklande. You have to say Trilani Dambuza.
I thought you were going to say something like, Uncle Bay or something like that.
Nah,
But let's not.
with the earrings,
With the earrings, the
It's
beanie.
these earrings.
Hey, even better. The beanie, the ripped jeans.
Gents are doing too much, eh? But anyway, it is what it is. It's let's stay focused.
So yes, today we are going to be speaking about this book called The Alchemist. It's a very short.
Can people actually see?
Yeah, I think they can.
Anyway, I highly doubt if you watching this right now, you probably have read The Alchemist.
I think they have. It's such a short read, hey? Short read, and it's one of those like anyone can pick up. I don't think it has a specific age, be it, your late 50s, 40s, going through a midlife crisis, or early 25, mid 25s,
Crisis.
quarter life crisis, or just like straight out of varsity.
Or even crisis. This is
Just straight out of high school. So yes, so the book is effectively about a shepherd, a boy named Santiago, and Santiago is a very adventurous, or at least he discovers that he's very adventurous throughout the book. And initially he started off with him having, so he's a shepherd, so obviously he looks after sheep. He had dreams under a tree, so he used to sleep under a tree, have dreams, and the part of his dreams is to find this lost treasure, or not necessarily lost, but to find treasure. And the whole book is about him embarking on that journey and facing different obstacles, where he started off by having someone interpret this dream. What does it mean? It's not a sangoma, but I guess a dream interpreter or the equivalent that sort of explains, okay, cool, you need to head out to Egypt, I think. And then he also
the pyramids, basically.
He comes across old man life experience, and this old man effectively tells him, listen, you need to gun for it if that's your destiny, and there is a cost not to gunning for it, right? Cool. The old man convinces him to sell all his sheep, gather some funds, and then boom, takes off, following his dream, young, ambitious, sort of like our age-ish, I would think, maybe even younger. But then he
gets bamboozled by the first woman he sees.
Get some flex.
The first woman he sees, the man starts to rethink if he should go on this trip or not.
He actually gets robbed first. And then after he's basically lost like entire life worth savings, and then he has to find, that was in itself an obstacle. And I think I would be distraught. First move that I make, I'm feeling highly motivated, energetic, and boom, such a major setback. But then your boy continues, and then he basically works for, what does he work for? Like a crystal maker?
Yeah.
In the desert for like a year. He manages to build.
I think the specific area is Morocco.
Sure, and then he manages to build a very good relationship with the shop owner. He convinces the shop owner, to take risks. I think Paulo Coelho is such an awesome author. I genuinely love him, and I think he sort of reminds me of Robert Greene in the sense that he's had so many life experiences, right? He's been thrown in jail. He's just had a lot, right? And you sort of can see that through the books that he's written, the characters, and how realistic they are. You almost can identify the different people in your life that these characters represent. Cool. So after a year, gathers enough courage. Well, he already had courage, but he at least now he has some funds. And then that's when he met, I think, Fatima.
Yeah.
So that was also a love lives here situation. Your boy then continues, and then what actually happens after he met Fatima?
He actually meets is it called a sorcerer? Or he actually meets the alchemist.
The actual alchemist, right? Actual alchemist, and then I think they also embark on a journey. It gets to a point where I think they almost get robbed, or they do get robbed, and then the alchemist basically convinces the robbers that Santiago knows.
They don't get robbed. There's war around that area.
Yeah. So
they had to.
Sure. They're all those, I call them gangs, but it's those like desert gangs basically. Go and raid villages and like raid anyone traveling through the desert.
Yeah. And then so I think they were avoiding it, and then they encountered some
different guys in the process.
And then the alchemist convinces them that, look, Santiago actually knows alchemy, and he can, I think, transform or disappear in wind or something along those lines.
He can actually speak to the winds and talk.
And that was crazy, right? But I think that period, it took about 3 years, 3 days, where he was basically trying to...
He was actually talking to God of some sort.
Dude, like, when they say you believe in things, when your back is against the wall, he literally had no other option. And I think that's part of the subtle message behind the book, about backing yourself and the universe, bringing what it is that you want and conspiring to your needs.
That's everyone's motivation when shit hits the fan. That's literally. Everyone was like, yeah, guys, things are coming my way.
Positive affirmation.
Yes.
Guys, sunshine.
The world is conspiring in my favor soon.
Although when you have literally no other option, you might as well believe the delusion.
But
like,
Tilani, what did you say your...
wait, I want Ludwig first to actually get to the end of the book, and then we'll discuss specific
Sure.
points.
So cool. I think after him speaking to God and the wind and the universe and
The sun.
dude, he spoke to everything.
He actually spoke to the elements of the world, which is the rain, the sun, and everything, and they were all communicating conspiring. Yeah, actually, word shit, flip. That's the actual meaning about it. Like the world conspires in his favor to get him out of this specific place that he was in right now.
Yeah.
Because he convinces the sun to not be there. And then the wind and the sun start communicating, like, yo, do you actually need to help this guy?
Yeah.
It's a concentration. Yeah.
And then they successfully managed to, execute the trick, and the robbers or the prosecutors or the gang in this case actually let them go because they were so impressed, right? And then what happens? He continues, and then I think the Alchemist and Santiago part ways. That's when
They only part ways once he actually gets to the pyramids, and then the alchemist tells him to now go find the gold by himself. Remember, all he's looking for is
the
treasure. It's actual
from the
physical
dream.
gold. Yeah.
From the dream. Yeah, and then I think when he is in that pursuit of gold by, digging up the gold particles or something, that's where he gets knocked or kicked by these two, so many gang, but yeah, these two people who are bad folks in this case, and they basically tell him he's foolish for going around looking for gold, and in that sort of exchange, that's where the one member then mentions, I also had this dream where I found gold I dreamt of gold in Spain. And then he describes this picture, which ironically, it was exactly where he initially had that dream. And that's when the light bulb moment came about. And then he went back home and boom, found gold.
Does he actually find gold?
I think it does. Does he not?
The story the end confuses me a bit, if I'm being honest with you, because in my head the end was that there's actually no actual treasure or gold.
Yeah,
he actually finds nothing.
No, the treasure's more. It's more
It's
internal.
internal.
It's the eternal fulfillment, you could say, or discovering one's life's purpose and the journey. That is the treasure.
And I think for me the thing that really stuck out is having the courage to actually execute on your dreams. And I know it sounds very fluffy, very soft, but in reality, it's a very different ball game.
Yeah.
And we all have these. I want to do this. I want to be great. But then the actual actions behind that, or that oftentimes is missing.
Okay. From inception, right? So what Ludwig didn't mention is that the boy starts from a religious family, if I'm not mistaken, where there's a set path in his life, right? He gets to marry someone, and he gets to live a certain way. He was supposed to live in this specific area of Spain, and that's Andalusia, which is Sevilla, if I'm not mistaken. And he gets to live in this place, and then he gets this dream, and then his dad sees the fact that his kid is a dreamer. And then his dad's like, yo, dude, you deserve a life that's way better than me. And that's how he actually ends up with the shepherds, right? And it's for me personally, that's almost at inception, but we get to hear about how he started probably mid-book. It's this idea of...
Did you read this yesterday?
No, I just have a memory.
Well, it's been a couple of years.
He actually gets to this specific part mid-book where he realizes that, he's actually made a choice in his life. Where he's at that point in time is a result of his own doing. Which I think some of us never really get to that point because we blame all our surroundings.
Circumstances.
Right.
Situations. And I guess, we don't take accountability. I think that's a massive part.
What was your key point? Part of the books, things that you could relate to?
So I'll definitely say, starting from where it comes from, and I want to echo the point that you just mentioned now. Growing up in Andalusia, his life was pretty much set. Young shepherd boy, you get married, get sheep, have kids, and sell the sheep off, continue to farm, and that's pretty much his life. And I think for me, one of the big things that I get from it is that in society, in the communities we've grown up in, the households that we've come up in, generally there's a lot of external forces setting up patterns. Could be the schools, could be teachers, could be parents, siblings, other relatives, media, etc. But there's a set path almost put out for us, and the person who dares to break away from it, that's almost when the life adventure begins.
You know, that point reminds me of I think we watched an interview with Dave Chappelle, where he was basically saying that his life, sorry, I'm just breaking out here, his life was sort of set as a comedian. You do these shows, you accumulate X amount of money, and you basically just go boom, 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 right? And he broke away from that, and people really couldn't understand, given that like his, I guess, path as a comedian had been set.
He had been given so much money at the time that he chose to break away from it.
Yeah, but the point was he didn't feel alive, right? He didn't feel the oomph, he didn't feel the being present. And I think for me, Santiago is sort of symbolic in that sense, that he's sort of directing his own journey. He's there, he's present, he feels the energy, he feels the emotions. And I think by far that's arguably the most fulfilling part of life. And it's going through that journey as opposed to just, you know, being a zombie in life, ticking all these check boxes. Yeah.
What do you think keeps us back? We have a path that's set for us. We know it works, or it should work, right? In a conventional sense. You can see what the ending is. What do you think it is about going off the common traveled path that kind of stops us from taking that risk and taking that jump? I mean, I'm sure we've all met people over the years who you look at them, like I can speak from experience, so many people who maybe they wanted to be a musician.
Yeah.
That's what they feel is their life's calling, and that's what they're passionate about, but that jump was never taken. Or maybe they wanted to, you know, act and moved off, they wanted to be an entrepreneur. But they just never jumped off. What do you think it is that keeps people from taking that risk?
I think it's... Look, okay, so the metaphor about the treasure, right, in the specific book is that he actually seeks out to be rich. He doesn't seek out for some experience. His idea of going to the pyramids isn't, oh my gosh, I want to see the pyramids in person. He's looking for treasure, right? And specifically to the point that you just made, money controls us, like it or not. So the three of us are in professional spaces, right? But we do have passions outside of just being in a professional space. And what has kept us in this professional space is the comfort of life that has been promised to us. So I think, like, for example, if I can't sing, if I wanted to be a musician, but I still had some sort of academic quality, then my question goes, okay, what do I choose, right? Do I choose a safe life where there's a set path, or do I actually choose a life that allows me to fulfill my greatest desire, right? Because I truly believe, like, from now experience, is that our heart knows our desires far greater than we know ourselves, right? So,
Boss there, hey?
yeah. So that's wow, man.
Poetry night.
So I feel like when someone who's 50, who's a CEO, right, feels unfulfilled, it's technically their heart, or if you believe in God, the Holy Spirit, and whatever it is that you believe in, that's telling you that, dude, this isn't the life that your heart wants for you. And the idea of treasure is that he always had the treasure within him. And to be a musician, we from South Africa, specifically in South Africa, isn't the hardest thing. There's no set path in how to be a musician. You could be a struggling musician your whole life and still be satisfied, right? Because your heart would be at peace. And I think maybe that's the biggest point, is like that musician who's struggling could genuinely be going through life and going through experiences, same as this guy, that are hard. But at the end of every experience, they feel fulfilled because they still feel like they follow their heart. And there's some sense of fulfillment about just following your heart. But you have to choose, right? You can't say, I'm following my heart, and then you think that the truth is we're all not going to be rich. Like, even the three of us here, like, I hope at least all three one day rich. I'm not trying to, but the truth
for
is,
yourself. Maybe I'm gonna be rich.
good for you, dog. I'm glad you believe that.
I'll chase that treasure for you. I'll go to those pyramids.
Yeah, like, I'm serious. Like the truth is, like, some of us are just gonna be middle class. We're not all gonna be rich, right? So maybe the treasure isn't in a financial form.
Sure.
maybe the treasure lies far beyond physical and material things. It's ironic because we've actually chosen the opposite path about it, and we see it in our everyday lives, the struggle to actually wake up and like do this thing. Like maybe our hearts are like, yeah, this isn't for me.
Can I add another thing on? And I love how Paulo Coelho introduced this whole idea. So in lots of ancient writings, there's a common theme, even if you look at the Bible, right? Deserts have very big, you could say spiritual or emotional or implied connotations.
Sure.
Right? I can't remember who it was that said, I don't know if it's from the book, but there's a saying which I read somewhere which said that you climb up a mountain, or you go to the mountain to find God, and you go to the desert to find your soul.
Clarity, I guess.
And I love how in Santiago embarking on this journey, obviously starts off at home, but for him to really find the treasure, i.e. which is what is inside of him, which is whatever's deep within his soul, that fulfillment, he's led to the desert. Similar to how Jesus, before he started his ministry, was led to his desert. It's actually a number of stories of historical stories of people going to the desert to find that big purpose or thing.
Having the epiphany there.
Exactly.
No distractions. It's
Yeah.
just you and your.
But another thing, yes, the desert's clarity, but there's a few interesting things with deserts. Generally, they go there alone. It's normally quite a lonely journey, which again is very symbolic of this journey you embark on. When you choose to leave where the pack is going, there are going to be long seasons where you're traveling this path all on your own or by yourself. But the desert is incredibly harsh, right? Extreme heat during the day, extreme cold at night. It's very rare, no water. It is very rare that you're going to be at a point where you're comfortable. And I think that I find it beautiful that he uses the desert as a metaphor to jump onto, or as a metaphor for when Santiago goes in there, because that journey is going to be uncomfortable. It's going to push you to your limits. You're going to have people who are going to try and raid you, right? There are going to be oases. I don't think we spoke about it, but in the book, it's also that oasis that he finds where there's provisions and I believe that not they found Fatima.
Yeah, that's
if I'm not mistaken.
Love of his life.
He finds the love of his life.
Over one night, the man was like, dude, this guy came from Spain to Egypt, right? And he gets shouted by one night. He forgets his entire dream. He's telling her that, yo, dude, I don't even care anymore. I've seen it all. He's seen nothing.
But then is that not what happens to so many people in life?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping we don't get you.
No. Think about it, right? Think about it. No, I haven't read deeper on what Fatima symbolizes, but if I think about it now, relationships that we meet. We have many people, if you decide to jump off, you have your path. You're like, okay, I'm going to become a billionaire. I'm going to make the next Facebook or Twitter or Apple or whatever. And you're on this. And certain people that you meet along the way can potentially distract you from that. Could be a loved one, right? Could be friends. Could be a child.
You could also be the problem in this thing.
Yeah, I mean, you could be a problem as well. But I'm assuming that our audience aren't narcissists to that degree. I mean, again, I can't speak for you. But if you think about it, right? I mean, how many people have met someone where you're like, listen, I'll throw it all away to be able to have a life with this person? That's how big the impact it is that they've had on you. Alright? And it's that
how often do you experience this moment a year?
He seems well versed for this. Eh?
Listen. Listen. If they responded to my DMs, maybe it'd be a number of times.
Guys, please stop rejecting the boy.
Right now,
Please stop curving him.
You know when you dive. You try to be smooth. No, Tilani, you try to you comment on the status, and it's something funny. Then you just get the so and so liked your post.
That's how we fun. But anyway, we're digressing a bit. Another thing.
I love how he doesn't want to go further down.
Before you chat, so I think for me, at that point where he met Fatima, he was literally, there was sort of like equilibrium, right? Do you go for your dreams, your desires, or do you go for this thing that you found along the way that's really captured you, that's also then given or ignited a fire in your belly? And I think that is somewhat symbolic of like the addictions that you may have, destructive relationships. And I think although you take, it sort of, as I mentioned, it really does make you feel alive. It's a question of when do you then let go of that to then pursue what it is that you are destined for.
Another thing I was thinking about is like, do you guys think there's a beauty in nothingness? In like, for example, when you're speaking about the desert, like the first thing that like was ringing in my mind was like, there's nothing in the desert.
Okay.
Like you don't own anything in the desert, right? So personally, the more things I accumulate in my life, the less risky I become, and the more worried I become about the things of the world. When I was still at home with zero things, I worried less about the impact of the things that I say, of what I do.
David orders.
Yeah. Hey, dog. Dog. I calculated my monthly debit orders. Like, yeah, it says. Like, can I be honest? Like, dude, like I want a big house, man. Yeah. But then I'm like, yo, that debit order. Yeah, every time
non-negotiable, dog.
Every time I see a BMW, I'm just like, yo. But anyway, the whole point is that like when you have nothing, right? You technically have everything.
Yeah.
Because we get to a point where the things that own us, or the things that we own, technically own us. Because the first decision that Santiago has to make is that the sheep that are accumulated for all these years, right?
And that was a big decision.
Yeah, it's like the sheep are a representation of everything that we've accumulated. It could be friends, it could be material possessions, it could be a job title, right? It could be anything that's personalized to your life. But that's the first decision that you make, is that like, what are you willing to sacrifice for what you deem in your life to be the most important thing ever? He had a dream, right? And it seemed like this dream was pestering on his mind and his heart for the longest time. But this dream could not be achieved with sheep behind his back. So, like, it seems like we carry things with us in the pursuit because we want everything. It goes back to when he meets Fatima, he has a choice, right? He has a choice to go for the pyramids or stay with Fatima. If he stays with Fatima, it means that there might be a certain longing in his life.
Yo, that's a dangerous position to be in.
Yes.
10, 15 years down the line, now you resent the person.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a certain longing in his life. And then Fatima actually mentions this. Like, Fatima actually does the most sacrificial thing and tells him that, yo, dude, I love you enough to want you to actually go for these things. If we are truly meant to be, and if God had made us to be together, I don't think he would place me in your life to prevent you from actually going for the treasure. Because at the time, she genuinely believed, believed also that it was gold that he was looking for. And she had an understanding that if he chooses her and stays, she might actually anger him more as life goes by. So I think it's like a catch-22. What do you guys think?
No, absolutely, man. I think it's also very selfless for Fatima. I think there's a lot of people that represent Fatimas in our lives, our parents, our friends, and I think to have that sort of support base is really, really important. And I think it ultimately, in the long run, it sort of makes or breaks you.
Closing remarks. I'm sure you've all seen how each of us have gathered something from reading this book. So, as we said, buy it, and as Tulani said, it's only like $100, right? Again, I guess that's probably a cocktail or two. But here, this will benefit your life. You can drink this every day, but the cocktail, you'll drink it and you piss it out the next day.
Okay, I don't know why this guy's being fake deep. Hey,
Alright, but
get a book and get a cocktail.
Yeah.
You can have it all.
To do the unconventional. So as you said, each person's gonna pick up something different from it, depending on what stage you are of your life. It really had a positive impact on my life. I'm sure it had a positive impact on theirs. My closing takeaway is embrace the desert. Embrace the desert. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
It's about to get dark.
Embrace the desert. Don't be afraid to go into it. And remember, like, that is a place where you will find your soul. And embrace the hardship that you'll get there, and you will find the treasure. And the beauty is in the journey, not necessarily in the destination.
What if the treasure's a bad?
Pardon?
What if the treasure's a bad?
Well, then there'll be a relationship, right? You see, with a person, you don't experience them once.
Obviously.
You can experience them multiple times. So even
Women
in that
change
sense,
hair every month.
yeah.
Get a different experience.
So even in that sense, the relationship with a baddie would be a journey in and of itself. And think about it, right? When you look back on the exes that have broken your heart,
Get you.
look back on the exes that have broken your heart, no wonder you're so cold now. What you enjoyed, what you enjoyed about the relationship, right? What you enjoyed about the relationship was all the experiences, was the accumulation of the experiences that you had with this person. It's very difficult to say that there was ever one specific point where I only enjoyed them here and I didn't enjoy them elsewhere. But then it's also symbolic of life itself, right? That every relationship has ebbs and flows. Oh, some nice English there. Has ebbs and flows, it has ups and downs.
Dude, everyone uses ebbs and flows. It's like on every Simon Sinek video. What do you say?
Relationships have ebbs and flows. and it's symbolic of life. You know, it's the same with life. Like, there are days when the sun shines, there are other days when it's raining and pouring. And it's about enjoying the journey, enjoying the process. And the good times make the bad times richer, and the bad times make the good times richer. So yeah, that's my closing.
I'd need to analyze that last statement a bit.
Hey,
But-
dog. Hey, you can
Yeah,
tell
give
someone
them
is
a-
soul searching.
Yeah. You read this book right now.
It's too
This was a therapy session for you, Mike.
I was unpacking it. I was unpacking
I know
it.
We
your
need
boy-
to charge this guy some
Your
therapy.
boy's lost here.
Hey guys, if Darren has been closed off now, this is a perfect opportunity for you to get to know what he's going through.
Reach out to me.
Please,
Check on me. Everyone, check on
for
me.
the sake of us,
Please, check on
can't
me.
see the boy crying out like this. So for me, I think, you know, it's pretty simple. Be intentional, ignite the fire in your belly, and life is about experiences. Honestly, I think without that, you just a zombie that's going through life, going through phases. I think for me, most importantly, the book highlighted that there are obstacles. I think we always think of our goals or our ambitions and dreams as it being a linear path, but it's very non-linear, and sometimes, you know, with the ebbs and flows, it's part and parcel. And most of the times, you learn a lesson or two that sort of helps in the long run. Yeah, I think mine is short and sweet. I'm not lost. At least I don't think I am, but you know.
Speaking about the short and sweet, we're sitting here, you know, and it looks like we're all the same height.
You guys don't need to know this. It is what it is. You
It
know?
generally looks like we're all the same height, but we won't say. We won't say. Anyway, they've already said everything that is there just to be said, to be honest with you. This is something that we're technically experimenting on.
Yeah.
We're gonna do another book, and we're gonna be doing these things so that we have a perfect balance between the studio stuff that can be quite, can I call it rigid?
Depending on the guest, yes.
Yeah, that can be quite rigid. So
They could also maybe suggest a book or two. I think if someone has had a book that really has moved them or had a massive impact, or you are, you know, faced with a hectic decision and you seek
one of the many obstacles.
and you seek like refuge and advice, it could be the Bible.
No, yo,
Hazy
touching.
one, but anyway, please do make your suggestions. We really do appreciate them, yo.
Like, subscribe. Actually, like, I'm not even trying to do this thing of like, oh my gosh, I don't care if we have many subscribers. Hey guys, please subscribe.
Subscribe,
Comment.
And
Hey,
also, if you feel like this video has helped you in any way, share it with your world. Send it to your aunt, your ex, if your dog's watching this, watch it with your dog as well. Send it to your colleagues, everyone. We really want to get the word out first and want to build traction for this content we're producing. And thanks for watching this.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed this. Just
actually, we're still